Audio check, 1, 2, 3. Checking again, checking for any interference. For God's sake, why can't I hear myself on my laptop when it's closed? Right, here we are. We should be alright now, hopefully. Here we are, welcome back ladies and gentlemen to the Motive Racing YouTube channel. We are here tonight for round 8 of 15 for season 4 of the F1 League here on the PlayStation 4 and 5 here on the Formula 1 game at Motive Racing, and we have got 16 drivers out on the track currently in this qualifying session. Not sure if we've got any waiting in the lobby. Obviously would have been a bit late to get into the quali session, but so I don't know if there's anybody waiting to jump in. I think we might have GTJ hoping to get in for the race. I think there are a couple who were running a bit late tonight who hopefully will be joining us, but nonetheless we're at Zandvoort for the Dutch Grand Prix here tonight. Always a bit of a congested, tight natured, twisty circuit. It's going to be quite uncompromising, and not really much room for error. Also the home race of the two-time champion and reigning champion Joram, as well as quite a few others here tonight. I know for a fact that his dad Raki is also from the Netherlands. We've got a few Dutch drivers out here tonight. I believe Rednas as well. I believe a couple more, but I don't want to I think Little Greedy might be as well, but yeah, I think we've got quite a few Dutch drivers out here tonight, so they're all looking to try and fly the flag here at their home race. Joram though currently 3/10 down on the provisional pole time, so he's not currently where he'll want or need to be in this session, but 5 minutes left to go here for qualifying for round 8 this F1 season. As we see Alfa Romeo losing it there in the background. That was Crescent Anime there getting it all wrong, as couldn't be HD Baguette, because HD Baguette never qualifies. She always starts at the back because she doesn't like to get involved in the carnage at the start, likes to stay well out of the way. But we can see Max GT coming into the pits. The top 6 all in the pits at the moment, all getting some adjustments made to their setups, just making a few changes, putting some fresh tyres on, getting ready to go for the final few minutes of the qualifying session. Pete Cheward's out there at the moment, currently half a second down on his middle sector. You've got the Nuts here in the Williams just coming through the final few corners, but he's well down on his personal best on this particular lap, probably going for a quick run on the next one, you would imagine. You got Rednas in the pits. Twitch Storms is out there, a 10th down coming through the first sector, a 10th down in the middle sector, so he's stayed the same in the middle sector compared to his first sector. Let's keep an eye on Twitch Storms and see what he's able to do here in the final part of this lap. Can he find a couple of tenths and improve his lap time a little bit? maybe go ahead of Redness up into 9th place. Let's see as Twitch Storms comes out of the final corner. And I know he's coming into the pits, so he's not going to improve in there. You got Crescent Anime and T also in the pits. Chicken Wings out there on an outlap at the moment. Raki and DJ Phil both out there in anger, and Raki's 3/10 up on his personal best at the moment, but his personal best is put in P14. He's a couple of seconds behind the next driver, which is Chicken Wing, who's running in 13th place. So not Raki's night so far, but it's a close grid here. One thing I also got to point out, Chicken Wing's improvement since he's joined Motive has been colossal. I remember when he first started here, he was well off of the pace. He's now within a couple of seconds of drivers like Little Greavy, Demsbecky and Jelram. So, you know, hats off to Chicken Wing for the work that he's put in since he started here. As we've got Raki coming out of the last corner. Can Raki get himself in the mix here near to Chicken Wing? Gets a little bit closer, but not close enough. Still over a second adrift of our driver in the Ferrari there. Also new to the Ferrari team is T. Has made the switch from the Williams team to the Ferrari for tonight and for the rest of the season, we believe. So good luck to him. He's going to be representing the Tifosi. Obviously we go to Monza in a couple of weeks time, I think it is, so it'll be interesting for him if it was real life, obviously, because it isn't, but if it was real life, then he would definitely be getting the adulation of the fans at Monza, but because this is sim racing, obviously it's not quite the same. But we got Demsbecky out there at the moment. He's currently just half a tenth of a second off of the provisional pole time being set by Little Greavy. Now, what can Demsbecky do here? He's been on the fringes of taking a win since he started here, but I don't think he definitely hasn't taken a win since he started at Motive. He's been on the podium several times. Now, the question is, can Demsbecky finally break his duck here tonight? He's on course for a pole lap here as he's coming out of the final corner, but can he keep it pinned? Can he keep this momentum going up towards the line? It's going to be a 110, I'm pretty sure of that. It's a 110.8 from Demsbecky, so he goes 3.5 tenths quicker there than Little Greavy. What about Jelram? Jelram's just starting a lap now, and he's right behind Demsbecky. Now, he might get held up in a bit of turbulent air. No, Demsbecky gets well out of the way. So fair play to Demsbecky there. Didn't want any piece of holding Jelram up there and being responsible for potentially stopping one of his rivals for pole position tonight from taking pole. So a good conscientious driving there from Demsbecky. We're riding on board with the two-time champion right now, as he's a 10th up coming through the first sector. Is currently that time that he's done there was good enough to put him in 3rd place, 6/10 off of the pole time. He's a 10th up, as we said. So can he keep this momentum going and maybe get himself on the front row, potentially even pole position here? You're riding on board with the man in the Red Bull, number 1 here at Motive, and he's keeping it nicely pinned here. He's got a little bit of traffic there, gets well out of the way. Doesn't look like he got held up too much. Still only a 10th and a half up, so as it stands, that wouldn't be enough to move himself up into 2nd place. He'd stay 3rd. Oh, is it all wrong there coming out of the chicane, and that's going to have just lost him a couple of tenths. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't improve this time around as Jelram coming out of the final corner. What is it going to be for the two-time champ? He comes up towards the line. It's nowhere near good enough. He's well off of the pole time, and he's currently 2/10 off of P2. So Jelram currently not on the front row as it stands at his home race here tonight. He's going to get just this final run here, and he's got a bit of traffic in front of him. That looks like it's an Alpine there. I think that's P2 just in front of him. It's either P2 or Twitch Storms. It's one or the other, but I'm not sure. But Jelram here will be hoping and praying he doesn't get held up here. He's currently 2/10 down, and I think the pole position has gone here for Jelram. So we've got Demsbecky currently on provisional pole ahead of Little Greavy. Jelram out there, but I don't think he's going to improve. Crazy Max in the pits. You've got Max GT, who is just coming through the middle part of the lap, and Bennett is a 10th up through the middle sector. That could be interesting, because could Bennett maybe put himself above his championship rival Jelram on this grid? It's very close between 3rd and 6th places, only less than 2/10 separating those 4 positions. So it's oh so close in that region in this qualifying session right now, and obviously Bennett leading the championship by 11 points, or sorry, no, by 5 points even, coming into this round. So he needs a good result. He'll be wanting to extend the gap a bit to Jelram. The trend recently has been Jelram gaining points on Bennett, but Bennett misses out on Jelram's P3 by under a 10th of a second. Just gets ahead of Crazy Max by 7 thousandths. So Bennett into P4. The 2 championship contenders lining up on row 2 here. But it's Demsbecky and Little Greavy on the front row. So that's a bit of a turn up for the books. And Demsbecky taking a very convincing pole position indeed. 3.5 tenths clear of anybody else. So Demsbecky is really setting down a marker here in this one. and that's absolutely great to see. But that looks like that is going to be that then for this qualifying session here. Guys, if you're enjoying the stream right now, 8 of you currently watching, please do smash the like button. It really helps us out an enormous amount. It helps to show our likes to dislikes ratios in all of its glory. So please, if you can, smash that like button, subscribe to the Motive Racing channel if you haven't already, and if you're interested in joining us, then be sure to go to www.motiveracing.com. We've got a realistic F1 league planned for Saturday nights as well. If you are a driver who's raced here before and who knows what you're doing, be sure to keep your eyes out for that. There will be a little rule in place where either you can send us footage of a league race that you've taken part in, or if you're a member here and you've been here for a while, then obviously we can sort of take your last 10 results or last 10 qualifying sessions, take your average qualifying position in this standard F1 league that we got here on a Friday night, which is always equal performance, and then what we'll do is we will put the guys who have the best average qualifying position in the slower cars, like obviously your Williamses, your Hasses, your Alfa Romeos, and then obviously we'll be putting the guys with the highest average qualifying positions in the slower cars, and the lowest average qualifying positions, they'll be going into the Red Bulls and the Mercedes and the Ferraris. So it's going to be quite exciting to see how that sort of pans out, because that will be like a real switch up in terms of how we're going to do things here. It'll be a total opposite of what you see on a Friday night, which is just outright pace. It will be drivers trying to outperform their equipment. So yeah, I'd love to get that going as soon as possible. But nonetheless, 11 of you currently watching now, guys, please do smash that like button. And we're moments away from the start of the Dutch Grand Prix here, round 8 of 15 for season 4 on the F1 game here at Motive. Obviously, if you're interested in joining, as I said before, go www.motiveracing.com. It looks like we have got a wet start to this race, which is unprecedented, really. So far this season, we've had 4 wet races, including this one here. 4 of our 8 races this season have had wet conditions, so it really is quite shocking here. The number of wet races we're having, it seems like some of our settings are quite magnetic to wet conditions. But here we are then, we're on the countdown now. Oh, oh my god, please don't knock my mic over, please don't knock my mic over. Oh my god, that was so close. Oh man, I just saw my mic wobble. I've got like a really flimsy little ottoman here, which my mic sits on, and I sort of rest my feet on the bottom shelf of it, and oh my god, I knocked it off earlier on, and it's painful because it's on such a flimsy stand. It's like you see the legs of the stand just shake, and I'm just like, no, stay where you are. But it's alright, we're all good. Anyway, we're about to go for the formation lap here for round 8 of 15 here at Motive for season 4 on the F1 game, and yeah, this is going to be a great night of racing, I'm sure. Dan Specky putting it on pole position. Yeah, the home driver, Joel Ram, the 2-time champion of the F1 League, starting in P3, not where he wants to be. But then again, it's a long race, 36 laps. It's going to be over 40 minutes of constant grinding. Are we going to have any safety cars? Are they going to come at the right time? Are they going to come at a time when it's convenient? As we can see, HDB gets left the session. Max GT, I think, has got back in. Kenny Stewart there in comments saying Raki in 14th. Let's go, mate. Raki can definitely do some decent business from there, Kenny. I would not write him off for sure. We'll be watching him with keen interest over the course of this race. But yeah, Raki's one of our staff team here at Motive, helps out with the stewards' inquiries when he can. He also did our standings last season. Obviously this season we're using our partners simleaguepro.com, so Raki's service is not required for the championship standings. But yeah, he knows the business. He's been in the F1 league now for a couple of seasons. He used to race with us on ACC before that. We have lost a couple of drivers on this formation. I don't quite know what's going on, but there seems to be quite a few disconnects going on right now, which is quite peculiar. I don't know whether there's any sort of news on the Discord server as to what exactly is going on here, but something doesn't seem to be quite right at this point. Nobody's saying anything on the Discord, so I don't think we have any particular issues. No, it looks like we're okay. GTJ messaged me on Discord saying if you send an invite, I'll join. I'm sorry, mate, I thought I'd send you one. I didn't realise that I don't have time to check my messages on Discord when we're streaming. It's just this hectic. It's always like I just about managed to get the stream on in time, in the best of times. So we've got Max GT back in a session. That's great to see. Hopefully HD gets herself back in as well, and we have the full 16 cars that we were supposed to have here in this race. We were missing a few tonight. Game for Life couldn't make it, and also Little Greavy as well as a couple of others. So we're missing Penguin Dude as well. So we couldn't quite get a full grid that we've become used to. Obviously last week we had 17 drivers, so a couple of weeks in a row now we've been missing a few, which is a shame because it's always great to have a full 20 car grid, but 16 nonetheless. We're going to have plenty of action. We're not going to be starved of something to talk about here. I think we can be sure of that. But here we are then. We're lining up on the grid, getting ready to go. Dem Specky lining up on pole position for the Dutch Grand Prix. Little Greavy will be alongside him on the front row. Gelram and Bennett, the two championship contenders. Bennett leading the championship by 5 points, but Gelram will be looking to try and gain more points on him this week. As here we go, the engines are going to go deadly silent, and it's lights out, and away we go. We're racing here at Zandvoort, and look at that from the Mercedes in the background there. Crazy Max got an absolute fly. Little Greavy leads ahead of Dem Specky into turn one as Crazy Max around the outside there of Gelram up into third place, gets ahead of both the two championship contenders Gelram and Bennett, but it's currently Little Greavy, Dem Specky. Bennett has just got ahead of Gelram there as they're side by side coming into this left hand hairpin, as it seems like Max and HD Baguette have been disqualified from the race, so they're out of the race, which is a massive shame there. I don't think they got in time, as Red Nuts has got ahead of the Must Nuts up into P6. The Must Nuts has retired from the race as well. What's happened to the Must Nuts? He's crashed out going up the hill. Is that going to be a safety car? Blimey, we started with 16 drivers and we're already down to 13. This is unbelievable. Lost 3 cars. Well, obviously 2 down to disconnections, 1 down to a crash, and we're already 3 down here in this race. Little Greavy, Dem Specky, Crazy Max, your top 3 at the moment. Is the safety car coming out? I'm just looking at the mini map down the bottom. Doesn't look like it. It looks like it's staying put at the moment. So the marshals are going to try and recover the Must Nuts' car under double wave yellow flags. But it's Little Greavy, Dem Specky, Crazy Max ahead of Gelram, followed by Bennett. There's Red Nuts in P6 ahead of P2, followed by the 2 Ferraris of Chicken Wing and T. You got DJ Phil ahead of Crest Anime, followed by Raki and Twitch Storms running in 13th place here in this race as they're coming over Okay, so we got Paige, obviously HD Baguette in the comments. Do we restart? Hold on one sec. Do we restart? Me and Max couldn't take control and it's disqualified us. Okay, yeah, I'm going to pull the plug then. Guys, if anybody's listening to the stream, guys in the race, if you can get the message across, jump in the game chat or whatever, it'd be massively appreciated. We are going to call a restart. I know it's early, I know that it's frustrating, but I think losing 3 drivers on the first lap, I think it's warranted, to be perfectly honest with you. So we're gonna call it here. We're gonna just get the grid order from the previous race. I'm gonna set the grid. We're gonna need to get everybody in as quickly as possible. That will also mean we can get GGJ in as well. Obviously, because we don't use OBS anymore, because my laptop packed in a few months ago, so nowadays I stream straight from the PlayStation to YouTube. So at the moment you can still hear me in between the breaks and stuff like that. Back in the day I would have put some music on and put an overlay on the screen and probably put a timer on there as well, but obviously nowadays we can't do that. At the moment we can't do that because we haven't got a laptop that I can run streaming software on. So you can still hear me waffling away as we get this lobby up and running, but we're going to be getting this underway as quickly as we possibly can. Don't really want to be hanging about or, you know, pissing around for too long, because we've all got lives, we've all got stuff to do. A lot of people probably got some plans for Friday evening, so it's just, I mean, I haven't. I'm a bit of a sad fuck, but obviously some of the people in here might do, so let's get the, right, there we go, so Netherlands, that's all good. Right, let's get some invites out then. Hopefully everybody shows up on my players met and we can get this underway as quickly as possible. that's so we need to take quality off, obviously. Okay, so we should have one more, I think, because we had 16 in the last lobby. Who are we missing? There's always one, isn't there? Oh. Plus, I was hoping to get GGJ in as well, but I think he's probably gone off or gone to do something else. He'd probably given up hope, to be honest. DJ Phil there. Oh no, DJ Phil is in. Hello, hi Andy. I'm assuming he's saying, how are you? I'm good, thank you, Phil. I'm very, very well, thank you. Happy, healthy. Yeah. Life's good. We are missing one driver, and I'm trying to work out who it is, but I can't for the life of me. So if anybody does know who it is we're missing, please do feel free to send them an invite. Yeah, I'm going to set the weather manually. So I'll put it to light rain. Hold on. Hold on, 1 sec. So it's going to start wet, and then it's going to dry out. So it's going to be a wet start, followed by a dry sort of middle of the race. Right, I don't think GGJ is jumping in, so I think this is it. Right then, guys, if you're listening to the stream, feel free to ready up. Let's go. Oh shit. Hold on, no, sorry. Stop. That was close, fucking hell. Right, we need to set the grid. Okay, so Dem Specky P1. Little Greavy P2. Gel Run P3. Bennett P4. There he is. Crazy Max P5. Max P6. Pichu P7. That's not P8. Twitch Storms P9. Red Lass P10. Crestname P11. Chicken Wing P12. P13. No, fuck. T should be above Chicken Wing. And above, no, below Crest Anime. Chicken Wing P13. Raki P14. DJ Phil. HD Baguette. Perfect. Hey, lovely. There we go. Alright guys, let's go. We can go now. We can start. Oh, what a night it's been so far. Right, we're about 20 minutes late, but we're now ready to go. Bit of a messy evening so far, but we got there eventually. And that's the main thing. Once again, for those of you just joining us, we are here at Zandvoort for the 8th round of the Formula 1 League here at Motive. Round 8 of 15 for Season 4 on the PlayStation platform. We've got some rainy conditions, but I've manually set the weather for this particular one because it was wet for the start of the previous one. So it's going to be light rain and then it's going to be clear. So there's 3 weather slots. First one's light rain, second one's clear, third one's light cloud. So it should rain for about the first 10 and 12 laps of the race, and then it should stop raining. So probably we're going to see a crossover from wets to, or maybe even inters. I don't know whether the drivers are going to start on inters. It might actually be a case of starting on inters. But we'll probably see dry tyres going on, I reckon, around the midway point, just after maybe. It's all down to driver preference, but there's usually a good cut-off point would probably be about the midway point of the race, but you just don't know, do you? It's impossible to tell until you actually get to the situation. It could depend on quite a few factors. Obviously, if it's clear, then the sun breaks through a bit quicker and should dry up the water a bit more of a quicker pace. As we've got Mies in the comments saying hi. Hello Mies, good to see you. Also we've got DJ Phil offering to run the streams. I mean the thing is, I kind of just prefer to stream it straight from my PlayStation. I will be able to do it on OBS soonish. I'll be getting a computer probably end of next month, because I'm getting a big fit paycheck next month, which will be nice. So I should be able to to get a decent PC with a solid processor. You don't really need a good graphics card to run OBS. It's all processor with OBS. That's really the main sort of ingredient required. Having said that, I would like to get into F1 and ACC on PC, so I guess in a way I could do 2 birds 1 stone, get a PC with a decent graphics card as well. then looking at that sort of region. And obviously that we'll be staying on PlayStation. Don't fear, don't worry guys, if you're listening to that thinking, oh god, are you still going to be doing PlayStation, Andy? Yes, we are, certainly. We're not going to be jumping away from PlayStation ever. Motive was born on PlayStation, it will live on PlayStation, but as with anything, you know, you need to, in terms of esports and game, to be on PC, so that will be obviously the aim at some point soon, probably in the new year. We say this every year, I say this literally at the back end of every year. I've been saying this probably for the last 3 years, 2020, 2021, now 22. I'll be saying in the new year we're definitely going to be going to PC. This time we actually need to make it happen, and I'm determined to make it happen. And I feel like I'm now at a point where I can probably deliver that promise finally. But here we are anyway, guys. We're coming towards the end of this formation lap. We got Dem Specky leading us around, Little Greavy in P2 ahead of Joram. 15 of you currently watching. That's what an absolute honour it is to see all of you here. Smash that like button as well. As DJ Phil says, no, Project Cars is ending soon. No, it's not. We're carrying. We're not stopping Project Cars anytime soon. DJ Phil. I know it's a dying game. I know it's no longer on sale, but still plenty of people play it on PlayStation. There's every reason. We still get full grids on Project Cars. I love the game personally. It's my favourite game to play. F1's my favourite game to commentate on. Project Cars is my favourite game to play. For sure. But here we are then, we're lining up on the grid. We're moments away from the start of the Dutch Grand Prix, the second restart, the second coming of this race. We see 3 drivers disqualified from the formation lap for, I assume, missing their grid slot, but we've got everybody here ready to go, and the lights are coming on now at the head of the grid, and it's moments away, and it is, it's not lights out yet. The lights have gone out on the screen, but not on the actual game itself. Here we go, we're underway, and Dem Specky not so good of a start this time. Little Greavy's alongside him coming up towards turn 1. Joam's got a poor one again, Crazy Max around the outside, but Little Greavy leads into turn 1. Dem Specky's got Crazy Max on the back of him as we see a bit of contact there down the pack. A Ferrari looked like he came together with a Williams potentially. DJ Phil's dropped behind Raki, but it's Little Greavy ahead of Dem Specky, followed by Crazy Max, who's made once again a really strong start. This time, Joam is ahead of Bennett. Bennett's in P5 there, ahead of the Mutts Nuts, followed by Max. Then you've got P. Cheward, who's got ahead of Twitch Storms there as they're running up the hill. As you can see that Red Nast here getting squeezed out by Twitch Storms. Twitch Storms keeping ahead of him there. Crest Anime Chicken Wing ahead of Raki, followed by HD Baguette, who's made up a couple of places on this first lap. DJ Phil in P15, and T is out of the race already on this first lap. Is that going to be a safety car? That's twice now that we've had a driver crash out on the first lap. We had the Mutts Nuts on the first start. Now on this second start, we've had T out of the race in the very early stages. I can imagine a wise crack from T at this point saying, can we have a restart? But I think we've had enough of them for one night. As we're looking further down the order right now, everybody seems pretty close in this mid pack. It's Little Greavy though, bro. Just building up a bit of a gap here. He's got just under 2 seconds at the moment over Dem Specky. Has he gone for a bit of a wet setup maybe? So I reckon some of the others might have gone for a slightly drier setup, knowing that the track is going to dry out at some point in this race. It's going to get drier and drier as this goes on. We're expecting dry weather from about between lap 10 and 12 onwards as HD Baguette disappeared. Where has she gone? Or is this just a glitch on the timing screen? I'm not quite sure. It looks like HD Baguette is invisible out there right now, but nonetheless, we see Joram into the pits at the end of the first lap. What is going on here? Did he get a penalty maybe? Is he just, yeah, it looked like he was serving a penalty. What tyres is he putting on? Is he putting another set of inters on? He's putting a front wing on, so he's got damage as Joram. Must have picked that up in the later stages of the lap, because he didn't drop too many positions. But Little Greavy leads by 2 seconds over Dem Specky right now. Crazy Max there running in the final podium spot. Bennett, Joram's big rival for this championship leader at the moment. Bennett LCFC running in P4 ahead of the Mutts Nuts, who's got heavy pressure now from Max GT, who is all over the back of him as they're coming to the middle part of this lap. Crest Anime is also on the back of Twitch Storms. You've got Raki hassling the back of Chicken Wing at the moment, with DJ Phil currently on the back of HD Baguette. But I think HD Baguette's made the move on him, made the move on DJ Phil up into P12. But currently Max is looking to get something done here with the Mutts Nuts. The Mutts Nuts defending to the inside as they're coming up towards the chicane. Max going back for the slipstream here, coming back to the inside. He's going to look to send one down the inside, but the Mutts Nuts has got that covered at the moment. Max GT can't quite make it happen there as they're coming on the exit of the chicane and into the final sector of this track. As you can hear just how much he's having to over rev it there. Max GT, one of the drivers who runs no traction control. You can hear that just by listening to his rev count. But they're coming out of the final corner here, and they're about to complete lap 2 of this race. And it's Little Greavy currently controlling things out the front, but Demspecki just gained a little bit on Little Greavy over the course of that lap, gained about half a second on him. So Demspecki's tyres now starting to come in a little bit. Crazy Max ahead of Bennett. There's the Must Nuts, who's just ahead of Max GT at the moment. 2 tenths between those two at this point. P Cheward ahead of Twitch Storms, as Max has got ahead of the Must Nuts, and the Must Nuts wide. Oh, he's out of shape there. P Cheward squeezes up the inside. Oh, does he go? He goes a bit deep there. Must Nuts back up the inside. P Cheward's going to have to watch out, because Twitch Storms is now on the back of him as well. P Cheward there took a little bit too much, I think, got a bit overzealous and paid the price for it, as Twitch Storm's looking at the inside but nothing doing there at the moment. P Cheward holds on to that one for the time being, as Bennett's got ahead of Crazy Max, and Crazy Max has had a moment here. What's happened to Crazy Max? He's now lost out to Max GT. The two Maxes going past each other there, but Max GT up into P4, and Crazy Max has lost quite a bit of time there in that little debacle. Obviously Bennett's got ahead of him, but Bennett is well adrift of the two leaders, Little Greavy and Demspecki, who are in a class of their own at the moment in these wet conditions. And Demspecki's got the gap under a second now to Little Greavy, so Demspecki flying at the moment. As they're coming out of the final corner, about to complete lap 3, Crazy Max is on the back of Max GT, trying to come back at him there. You've got Raki, who's just keeping Chicken Wing on his toes. He's about a second behind him at this point. Joram has got ahead of DJ Phil up into 12th place, so he's made up one more position here, obviously having come in on the first lap for a very early pit stop. But Little Greavy and Demspecki just over a second separating the top two at the moment. Crazy Max has just dropped off of Max GT a little bit over the course of that lap. It's now just over a second separating those two. But it's Little Greavy currently doing the business right now. 1.1 seconds. He's just keeping Demspecki out of that range at the moment, just holding him behind the jab. He's just keeping that distance at this point, is Little Greavy. As we can see, Crazy Max has got ahead of Max GT, and Max GT's made a mistake. That's why the Must Nuts moves through, and so does P Cheward. Is Max GT retiring from the race? I think he might be calling it a day here. No, he's carrying on. He's just staying out of the way. He doesn't want to obstruct anybody. He's being a bit too good, a bit too nice there. He's staying well out of the way for everybody else who's coming through. But Max GT's lost quite a few places there in that one. Then Demspecki within a second of the race leader, Little Greavy at this point. As we're still looking at the other battles right now, Raki's on the back of Chicken Wing in this battle for 9th and 10th places as they're coming through the middle sector of the lap. But let's jump back on with the two leaders, Little Greavy and Demspecki, who have built a bit of a gap up to Bennett. Bennett's now in clear air. He can now try and chase him down. He's maintaining the gap to them at the moment, is Bennett. He's only 8 seconds behind, but he's obviously lost a load of time in the first couple of the laps, and that's now put him very much on the back foot here in regards to these two. Can these two start battling and maybe bring Bennett into this race? Demspecki had 22 dead on that last lap. Bennett at 22.1, so only a tenth off of the pace of Demspecki. He's quicker last time around than Little Greavy was, so Bennett currently on a bit of a charge right now, and if these two battle, then Bennett could definitely be in contention for this race win. Obviously Bennett leading the championship coming into this round by 5 points over the two-time champion Jelram, who's also the reigning champion, who's taken 2 Constructors Championships over the last 2 seasons as well with his father Raki, before Raki obviously made the move to AlphaTauri for this season and was replaced by Jelram's friend Rednas, who's driving in the sister Red Bull. Jelram doing the fastest laps of the race right now, 21.3 on the last lap, but he's absolutely miles behind. His tyres are 1 lap fresher, but that's not going to make a huge amount of difference really, to be honest with you. So Jelram's got the pace, but he's just a long way behind, and he's got a lot of work to do. Probably needs a safety car to get himself back in this one. As HD Baguette's just suddenly flown up the timing screen up into 11th place. I think there's a bit of lag going on there, because she does seem to be sort of yo-yoing up and down that timing screen. But right now, Little Greavy and Demspecki 0.6 of a second separating these two. Bennett though is closing on both of them. The gap's down to 7.5 seconds. It was about 7.8 at the beginning of this lap, so Bennett's chipping away. Little Greavy over the line to complete lap 5 of the race. Demspecki, if it was dry conditions, it would be DRS open for Demspecki, but obviously the track's still a bit wet and race control deem it not quite safe enough yet to warrant the enablement of DRS. As Bennett fastest up of the race there at 21.2, fastest of anybody that last time around. P Cheward's closing up onto the back of the Must Nuts, just about a second separating those two in P5 and 6. Braki's on the back of HD Baguette as they're coming out of the last corner, and you can see HD Baguette is in the slipstream of Chicken Wing. A little bit too far back coming into turn 1 just at the moment. Then Raki there on the tail of these guys as Jelram is into the pits for what I can only assume is an impromptu pit stop here. What tyres is he putting on? He is putting on, oh wow, that's ballsy. I think it's a bit early for the slicks, but Jelram has put a set of soft tyres on. Are we going to see that Red Bull now flying around Zandvoort here? I'll tell you what, let's jump on board with him. Well, actually, no, we still got a battle for the lead, so let's check this out at the moment, because Little Greavy and Demsbecky are still battling. We're going to jump to Joram in a bit. We're just going to, once he's got his tyres warmed up, we're just going to jump onto him as he's coming through the middle part of the lap, because it will take a little while to get those up to temperature, seeing as it's still a bit moist out there. I'm just watching that gap between Rednas and Joram. You can see at the middle part, left-hand side of your screen, the gap is going up between Rednas and Joram. Joram, I think, has changed onto the soft tyres far too early in this race, and I don't think that's going to pay off for him. Similar situation to what we saw with George Russell this season at the Singapore Grand Prix. Is he just going to stick with it? Oh, it's Demsbecky sending it down the inside of Little Greavy for the lead of the race. He's done that beautifully there as Demsbecky caught him off guard, completely unawares there. Demsbecky up into P1. What a fantastic overtake. Little Greavy will probably be cursing that one, thinking, where did that come from? But Demsbecky now has got the upper hand. He's got track position here. And can Little Greavy keep with him, or is Demsbecky just going to now extend his advantage here? Keeping an eye on the gap between Rednas and Joram. It's now started to just stabilise a bit as Joram gets those soft tyres up to temperature. It's still creeping up, to be fair. That momentum will probably shift in Joram's favour in a couple of laps time, but at the moment it looks like the Inters are still definitely the way to go, as Max GT has got ahead of HD Baguette up into P10, and he's now looking all over the back of Chicken Wing as well. Can Max GT get around him? He just tags Chicken Wing a little bit in the rear there and couldn't quite make it through. We've got lots of Maxes on the grid right now. I think I assume that both of them's real names are Max, albeit I suppose maybe some people are Max Verstappen fanboys. I don't think that's the case with Max GT. I think his name is actually Max. I don't know about Crazy Max, but I know that Max, I'm almost certain that Max GT's real name is Max, but currently he's on the back of Chicken Wing right now, 2/10 between those two. HD Baguette right on these guys as well. Rednas has got over DJ Fulham. Oh, and there's a crash between DJ Fulham and Joram. Sorry, not DJ Fulham and Joram, DJ Fulham Rednas, and the Red Bull there just got tagged as it was making its way through. Now what went on there? I don't know whether that was it looked like it was a bit sus there between those two. Nonetheless, they both got damage. Crest Naname's come into the pits at the end of lap lap 7, should I say, as Chicken Wing's got a 5-second penalty for a crash with Max GT. So I don't quite know what's going on there. I think that was, he might have gone into the back of him coming into the pits, but we see quite a lot of drivers coming into the pits. Crest Naname has put the hard tyres on now. How's Joram doing on those softs? I think they might be starting to come into a bit of a window now. You've got Crest Naname and HD Baguette both putting the hard tyres on, so I reckon that those two are probably going to try and go to the end from here. Now, have we got a safety car? No, safety cars still... No, hold on, I think we might have a safety car out, you know. I can see a yellow dot at the end of sector 1, so I think the safety car is out. So that's going to be very interesting indeed to see how that goes. No, Demsbecky has stopped the car, so he's a race leader. He's now stopped dead. I'm not quite sure what he's doing here, but I'm pretty sure that looks like there is a yellow dot parked up on the track. Or is that that's the sector beam, sorry. I'm such a div. We have got a full course caution. I think it's a virtual safety car, but don't think, by the looks of it, I think it's a safety car. I don't know yet. I don't know, it's difficult to tell. I still haven't gotten used to this way of doing it on the F1 22 game, where it doesn't actually say safety car. You just have like a safety car on the map. No, we do have a safety car. I just seen it. Yeah, so Demsbecky, the race leader, will pick up the safety car. As we see, we've got a lot of drivers putting the hard tyres on. Obviously, from this point, especially because we've got a safety car, we're probably not going to go racing until about lap 11. That's 25 laps to the end of the race. So potentially, drivers could go to the end from here on one set of hard tyres, as long as there's no more safety cars and as long as we don't have any more rain, which we're not expecting. We'll be seeing a lot of drivers going straight through to the end of the race from here. We saw a couple of drivers putting soft tyres on. Joram came in for soft and has now put the hards on. He'll be at the back of the pack. What can he do from there? I'm excited to see what he can do. But it's currently Demsbecky, Little Greavy, Bennett at the top 3 with Crazy Max, all those 4 on hard tyres. Then you've got Pichu with the Mustnuts and Twitch Stormers on the mediums, Crest Anime on the hards. You've got Max GT on the soft tyres, HD Baguette on the hards, Raki on the soft tyres, Chicken Wing is just serving a penalty there, and it looks like the Ferrari team have got the Inters ready for him. So what is going on there? Those are definitely the wrong tyres for these conditions. Chicken Wing back out onto the track. Red Nass on the soft tyres, DJ Phil on the mediums, and Gelram on the hard tyres. So Gelram just gaining a position there with Chicken Wing being in the pits, and Gelram there up into 14th place here in this race. 15 of them still going. We've lost T on the first lap of the race, but we've still got everybody else in the race at the moment. I reckon we're going to go racing probably at the start of lap 11, so we're going to do at least one more lap on the safety car here in this Dutch Grand Prix for round 8 of the season 4 here on the Codemasters Formula 1 game. Not so much the Codemasters Formula 1 game now, it's obviously the EA Sports Formula 1 game. I got so used to saying the Codemasters Formula 1 game over the last couple of seasons, but obviously it's the EA Sports Formula 1 game. EA Sports having acquired Codemasters. Codemasters now essentially a part of EA Sports, so it's very much the EA Sports F1 game. And everything about the F1 game nowadays just reminds me of FIFA. It's just literally like the F1 version of FIFA nowadays, which is quite cool in a way. It's so personalised, and the customization and everything, it's really cool. I do like the way that I do like the direction they've gone with the F1 22 game. It's very authentic, and it really does put you in that sort of like that position where you do feel like you are really part of an F1 team or an F1 career mode or an F1 race in general. I think it's a really awesome game, this F1 22 game. If you're thinking of buying it, definitely head over and get it from whatever store you're in, whether it be the Steam store, the PlayStation store, the Microsoft store for Xbox, whatever. Definitely head over and get it if you're on the fence. If you're on PlayStation, then be sure to go to www.motiveracing.com, because we run leagues on Friday nights, and hopefully soon we're going to be running on Saturday nights as well for a realistic league. Obviously that will be, I think we'll probably restrict that to existing drivers only, or former drivers, returning drivers who raced in our leagues before. What we'll do, we'll probably take previous results or average qualifying positions from their most recent 10 races, say, at Motive, and then we'll take all those average qualifying. So those with the best average qualifying positions will have to race in cars like the Haas and the Williams, and you'll get the guys who race in the who have got the really, the not so great qualifying, average qualifyings. They'll go in cars like the Ferrari and the Red Bull and the Mercedes, and it'll all kind of be even. And it will really mix up the grid. It will make it a bit more unpredictable, very exciting for viewers and for the guys who watch it back after the race as well. So yeah, we want to have an entertainment factor here, and Saturday night we reckon is going to be the night for that one. I'd love to get that going, probably in the next couple of weeks, hopefully, if possible. My mic keeps falling over here. I can't get it straight. I cannot for the life of me get my mic straight at the moment. It keeps falling backwards. We're having a bit of a nightmare here. Right, we have got that now sorted, I think. That should be alright. Yeah, right, that's all good. So, here we are then, guys. We are on lap 11 of this race. Hopefully the safety car will be in this time, but Max is in the pits. Max GT, that is not Crazy Max. So we might be a little bit longer until we get going. Who knows? We'll have to see. But currently you've got a lot of drivers on the hard tyres. A few put the mediums on, possibly hoping to go for a soft stint right at the end of the race, maybe. Mediums probably will go somewhere between 14 and 17 laps, so I reckon that we might be seeing a few of those medium guys putting on a set of softs at the end. Maybe, who knows, they'll be putting on another set of mediums to play it safe. It's all just going to be a learning curve at this point. We're just not sure how it's going to go, how it's going to play out, but ultimately a long way to go left in this race. It's not even a third of the way in. We've gone from wet to dry conditions. Obviously we started out in the light rain. It's now dried out pretty quickly here at Zandvoort, and we're now getting ready to go. The safety car will be in this time around. It's going to be Dem Specky be leading us away ahead of Little Greavy. Bennett there, poised to do something right there in third place. We'll be hoping to get an electric start on this restart and try and pounce on these guys in front of him. Drivers who will be will have a bit of a momentum here will be P. Cheward, the Marks Nuts and Twitch Storms. They're all on the medium tyres. The guys in front of them are running the hards. Also drivers to watch, Raki and Red Nass on the soft tyres, Chicken Wing as well. So we've got a few drivers on faster tyres behind the leaders, and it's all just going to be an evolution of who can get the best out of a drying track. Obviously the track's still going to be green at this point, but hopefully we'll see the conditions getting better and better and more rubber in us. Here we go, Dems Becky leading us down towards turn one. Little Greavy looking all the way around the outside. Can he get it all the way here? He's looking to try and find that grip there around the outside of the corner as there's a bit of contact there between the two of them, but Little Greavy gets the move done there, up into P1. Dems Becky down to second place, looking further back down the order. Doesn't look like there's too many position changes at the moment. Then we're all as we were coming up through the first sector of this restart on lap 12, but Little Greavy managing to pounce brilliantly there, had the grip all the way around the outside of turns 1 and 2 as Joram's got ahead of Redness, his teammate, up into 11th place. The Mutsnuts has got ahead of P Cheward up into P5 as well. So a couple of chopping and changings here on this first restart lap as Joram's now made up another position there. He's already gained 2 places, now 3 because HD Baguette's gone straight on into the gravel. So HD Baguette with a big nightmare there, and she's down to the back of the pack there. So Joram has gone from 12th up into 9th place, although once again HD Baguette just seems to be lagging around a bit. I don't know what's happening there with her. Her connection is absolutely all over the place here tonight. It has been for the last couple of weeks. And yeah, it's just not working out at the moment, but Joram up into 9th place has had an absolute stormer of a restart. He's now looking on the back of Crest Anime. The home driver here has gained 3 places, looking to make it 4 on this first restart lap. He's already within about 5 or 6 seconds of the race lead as they're coming over the line here to complete lap 12 of the race, and Joram at his home race looking to maybe try and secure a famous victory, but Crest Anime had the straight line speed coming down the straight. Joram with the inside line gets back ahead through turn 2. And Joram on a bit of a charge here as Raki's got ahead of Rednass up into P10. So that's job done there for Raki. Also home race here. I think it's the home race for Rednass as well, to be fair. As HD gets looking to try and get the run here up the hill ahead of Rednass and gets himself back up into 11th place. DJ Phil's got ahead of Chicken Wing up into P14, and Chicken Wing's lost it. That's why Chicken Wing's binned it there coming through the banked left-hander. And he's lost a lot of time there to the other guys as Little Greavy's pulled out just over a second of a gap here over Dems Becky at the moment. Bennett's keeping on the back of Dems Becky. You can see there 7/10 between those two at the moment. Crazy Max there keeping on the back of them. The Mutsnuts on the fresh medium tyres will have the pace over these 4 guys in front of him, but can he make the most of it at this point? As we see, HD Baguette has gone ahead of Raki up into P10, so that's a beautiful move there from HD Baguette. Rednass trying to queue up behind Raki at this point as well. But Bennett down the start-finish straight, a little bit too far back on Dems Becky. No DRS this time, but Little Greavy's crucially broken that 1 second barrier to Dems Becky, so Dems Becky will have no DRS to defend from Bennett. He'll be a sitting duck as it stands. Can he get himself back in that 1 second on Little Greavy and use that to try and defend? Bennett will be on a bit of a charge here. Bennett, the championship leader, he knows that his championship rival is down in P7, but he's made very quick progress through the pack. He's got ahead of Twitch Storms now up into 7th place, so Joram continuing to pick his way back into contention here for a potential podium, maybe even a race win. It's certainly not out of the question at this point. But he's got work to do still in this race, but it's currently still Little Greavy. Dems Becky's just closed the gap a little bit over the course of this lap. Dems Becky seems to struggle to get his tyres up to temperature, but once he does, he's a force to be reckoned with. I don't know whether it's the setups that he runs or his driving style, but Dems Becky just takes a couple of laps to get into his stride. We've seen on the restarts he can be a bit sleepy. I wonder if he just doesn't keep enough temperature in his tyres during the safety car periods, and maybe that's what's costing him in a lot of these races. But right now he's getting back onto Little Greavy a little bit. Bennett though, I think, is he going to have DRS this time, or I think it might be next lap? I'm not sure. I think it will be this lap actually. Bennett will probably get the rear wing, I think, open on this time around. No, he won't. No. So next lap is DRS. Bennett's just a little bit too far away still on Dems Becky right now, as Dems Becky's just creeped within a second here of Little Greavy as well. So Little Greavy would have had Dems Becky with DRS behind him, and that would have obviously helped Dems Becky to defend from Bennett. But currently you've got 4 drivers here separated by about 2 seconds. Little Greavy, Dems Becky, Bennett and Crazy Max all running on the hard tyres. They've gapped the Mutsnuts and P Cheward a little bit running behind them. So these guys have now got it a little bit to themselves at this stage, keeping an eye on the timing board. Crest Anime is still pressuring the back of Twitch Storms for 8th and 9th. You've got Joram, who's looking to make another move on another driver. P Cheward has got Joram all over the back of him in 6th and 7th places. We're currently watching the battle for the lead at the moment, as Raki's also on the back of Rednass. Bennett has got ahead of Crazy Max down the inside there. Can he complete the move though? I think he has done. Bennett there has made another position up onto the podium spots. Crazy Max trying to come back at him here, as in fact it was actually Bennett was actually ahead of Crazy Max before, so Crazy Max have made the move on him, and then Bennett has got him straight back into the next left-hander, so these two having a bit of a tussle. That's not what Bennett needs. He needs to get after these two out the front, Little Greavy and Demspecki, as they're coming out of the last corner for half a second separating those two. Demspecki will have DRS this time around on Little Greavy, but he's a little bit too far away to be able to make a move into turn one. It'll bring him that little bit closer though as they come into turn one. As onto the brakes they come here, 310 separating them into the braking zone. As looking back through the order, they're all coming through turn one there. In the background, you've got Chicken Wing who's made the move on Max GT up into 13th place. Joram still can't get ahead of Pichu at the moment. I think Joram's running a bit more downforce on the Red Bull because we've seen he hasn't really got much straight line speed. He's got incredible grip through these parts of the tracks, the twisty sections, but seen a couple of times when he's involved in straight drag strip against another driver, he seems to struggle in this race. I don't know if it's because of his reluctance to deploy ERS. Looks like he's used quite a bit of it though. He's only got 20% of it left, so he's been using plenty of it. He's not shying away from it, that's for sure. Oh, as Pichu loses it into the wall, and Joram gets P6 handed to him on a plate. Pichu there with a nightmare. He's going to have to wait for these guys to come past. Twitch Storms gets through, Chris Anime as well. HT Baguette Rednas coming through. Where's Max GT? Max GT's going to get there a little bit too late, and Pichu there keeping on to 11th place. But Pichu with a horror show there as we go back to the leaders. Little Greavy, Demspecki, Bennett there closing in on them a little bit. Crazy Max is right there still as well. The four leaders still separated by not very much, about 2 seconds separating the top four at the moment. Little Greavy still with track position. Demspecki a little bit closer this time around, still a little bit too far back to make the move though. Into turn one they come. The gap's still around the same as what it was on the previous lap. And now openings really forming for Demspecki at the moment. Bennett's just lost a bit of time to those two coming down the straight there. He's got Crazy Max still in the back of him right now, but Bennett knows that he just needs to really outscore Joram in this race, and he'll be extending his championship gap. Not much, it's only 5 points between him at the moment, but these are crucial points that Bennett needs because as a general trend, Joram's been definitely closing the gap to him over the course of the last few races. As PVC Pichu are putting the hard tyres on, so I imagine he's going to be trying to go to the end from here, you would think, as we see Raki there putting the hard tyres on as well, so he'll be going to the end from here, you would imagine. Oh, as Chicken Wing's gone off onto the gravel. Chicken Wing loses it there and he's dropped out. He's lost out to DJ Phil there, who's into P13, so unfortunate there for Chicken Wing. Have we got a safety car here? If so, why on earth have we got a safety car? We've got a full course caution and we have got a safety car. Why? What is... I don't understand. Why have we got a... What for? I just don't understand. No one's crashed out. This is just ridiculous. I really can't put my finger on what this is about, to be honest with you. Kenny Stewart, must say your commentating is really good. Nice one. Cheers, mate. I appreciate that. Thank you. It means a lot. Thank you very much. We've got Little Greavy coming into the pits. Oh, no, he's not. He threw it. Oh, he sold them a right dummy there. As we see Bennett coming in, the Mustnuts and Joram. Little Greavy, you are a cheeky little so-and-so. Well done. That was brilliant. I love that. Feigned to go in the pits and then at the last second was like, nope. Staying out on the hard tyres, going for track position. Bennett's put a fresh set of mediums on. That's quite ballsy from this far out, I've got to say. The Mustnuts has put a set of hards on, so he's... Again, he could have put another set of mediums on. It was a wet start, so you don't have to use 2 compounds. I don't know if the Mustnuts didn't realise that. He could have definitely gone for the mediums if he wanted to. Then again, he might be playing it safe. Joram's put the mediums on as well, so he'll be poised actually. Joram's going to be in a great position. I'll tell you what, Little Greavy might be kicking himself in a minute, not changing tyres. Is he going to come in at the end of this lap? He's still got time to come in because he'll be catching up to the safety car here. It might be a bit of a risk now. It'd probably drop down to about P6. If I was Little Greavy, I'd come in this time, personally. But then it's up to him, really. He's still got a fair way of this lap left to go behind the safety car. So by the time we get around, he might not have enough of a gap behind him to come out in a reasonably decent position. I reckon if he comes in, he'll still come out in P8 at least. So Little Greavy, I think he's best off coming in because you're going to have drivers behind him like Bennett and Joram are going to be flying fresh medium tyres. Little Greavy's got to come in. He's got to come in. If he doesn't come in, he's definitely not going to win the race, that's for sure. What's he going to do here? So we're watching the race leader. I personally think he's got to come in. I think makes no sense not to, but he is staying out obviously on the on the worn out hard tyres. I suppose Little Greavy's best hope in this race is that Bennett and Gelram's tyres wear out before we get to the end. That's probably his best hope here in this one. So yeah, he just needs to hope that those two have a bit of a struggle. But Little Greavy driving a hell of a race here tonight. I tell you what, we've seen on the F1 22 game, he's taken a little while to get up to his standard that we've seen in the F1 2021 game. Obviously, he was always up there challenging for podiums and top fives. This season, it's taken him a few races to get into his stride, but he seems to have really found a groove here at Zandvoort tonight. And could it be his first win on the F1 22 game? He's taken wins on 2021 before over the course of season 2 and season 3, but season 4 still yet to take a P1. I'm not sure if he actually took a P1 last season. I think he might have taken one at Monza. It might have been, yeah, I think it was Monza he took a P1. But yeah, it's been few and far between his opportunities to take victories over the last few seasons. But he's currently in a prime position to do that. But with the hard tyres, obviously it's going to be difficult in these last few laps. But Little Greavy, Demspecki, Crazy Maxi are top 3 at the moment. Bennett running in P4 with the Mutts Nuts 5th place. Joam 6th ahead of Twitch Storms. Red Nastes, HD Baguette ahead of P Cheward. Crescent Anime ahead of Max GT. Raki, Chicken Wing and DJ Phil running at the back in P15 here, as he just ran a bit wide in the background there and getting it all over the place. That's not what we want to be doing there, Phil, that's for sure. But here we are then, we're just coming through the final few corners and we're about to go here. Safety car coming in this lap, so Little Greavy will be getting us underway. Here we are then, looks like we're underway. Little Greavy's put his foot to the floor. We're back underway here for the Dutch Grand Prix, the final 17 laps. We're just over halfway through, half distance here in this race. Little Greavy has got a bit of a gap back to Demspecki, you can see there. Bennett looking to the inside of Crazy Max into turn 1. Can he keep it there? Crazy Max holding around the outside. Can Bennett complete the move? I think he might be able to squeeze through coming into this middle sector there. A great move there from Bennett, but Crazy Max back up the inside for the banked left-hander and squeezes back up ahead of him there. Bennett has to concede, couldn't quite keep it there, as we can see that HD Baguette's lost out a couple of positions to Max GT and Raki, as Chicken Wing's had enough. No, sorry, not Chicken Wing. Crescent Anime's had enough, and it's down to P15. But Little Greavy's got just under a second here to Demspecki. There's Bennett ahead of Crazy Max, followed by Joam. You've got the Mutts Nuts, Twitch Storms, Red Nas there, as Joam has made the move on Crazy Max. Has he completed it? Yes, he has. Crazy Max a bit wide. He might be vulnerable here to the Mutts Nuts, who's going to try and go around the outside there. Has he got enough grip around the outside? No, he hasn't. Crazy Max keeping onto that P5 for the time being. Now the Mutts Nuts goes for the switch back here, looking to try and send it here into the chicane, but Crazy Max keeps it around the outside. Red Nas here is on the back of Twitch Storms. You've got Max GT on the back of P Cheward as well, as Red Nas has squeezed back through ahead of Twitch Storms there, up into 7th place. So a hectic restart here for this one. It's Little Greavy who leads by just over a second, and we've got another safety car, I think. We have. So why are we getting safety cars? Or is it just a virtual? It might be. No, it is a safety car. We got another fucking safety car. Why, man? What? Who's doing this, man? Who's parking up by the side of the road and getting the safety cars out? I'm gonna find out who's doing this. I swear to God. If this keeps happening, we're going to take safety cars off. I know it makes it more authentic and realistic, but if people keep doing this, we're not going to run them. Simple as that. Or we're going to run them on reduced, or whatever it takes to stop this from happening. HD Baguette wants an invite. Yes, you can have another invite page. Let me sort that out. It's just ridiculous. People are parking up by the side of the road and getting the safety car to come out, and it's just not. It's not in the spirit of league racing. You know, it's not what you're supposed to do. It's not how it works. Right, any more people who do that, and I'm going to be giving DQs out. I'm going to be giving bloody race bans. If people keep doing this, it's absolutely ridiculous. It has no place in league racing to stop the car in the middle of the track to force a safety car out. It's just not. It's not how you do league racing. It's not right. It's not on. Right, ran over. 15 laps left to go. I'm going to grab a drink of water quickly. Here we are then, coming towards the end of lap 22. We've got 14 laps left to go. We're coming into the business end of this Dutch Grand Prix here. The safety car coming in this lap. Hopefully this is the last safety car. If I see anyone else parking the car and forcing a safety car, there is going to be race bans. But nonetheless, here we go, over the line to start lap 23. Little Greavy ahead of Demspecki. Demspecki's having to throw a little feint to the inside. In the background, you've got Gelram here, who's trying to make the move on the Mutts Nuts, running outside as we see, sorry, not the Mutts Nuts, Twitch Storm, sorry. Twitch Storm spins out there coming through turn 1 and drops down to P15, so he's down to the back as he's lost it into the wall, and he's lost a bit of his front wing end plate as well there. Twitch Storms, keep going, buddy, or otherwise you're going to get a race ban. But Little Gravy ahead of Demspecki here. You got Bennett there ahead of Gelram, who's really close now, knocking on the doors of the podium spots. And where has this come from? Gelram now on the back of his championship rival and could potentially be about to take points off of him here in this race. Unbelievable. Who would have thought that even 5 laps ago? Even, I mean, especially at the start of this race, but even a couple of laps ago, that would have been preposterous. But Gelram is now standing on the cusp of a podium place, and he's looking to the inside here on Bennett. The two championship contenders side by side into the chicane. Gelram there trying to keep it on the inside, but Bennett holding it on the outside for the time being. You're going to have to get up earlier in the morning to send one down the inside of Bennett into the chicane there, and Bennett holds on for the time being, but Gelram's really putting it up him at this stage in the race. Little Greavy's trying to open up a bit of a gap here. He's got nearly a second over Demspecki at the moment. Demspecki, though, has got the two contenders for the championship right on him here into turn 1. Bennett looking to the inside. You can see him trying to send it here as he's just got a bit of his car along the inside there. Slightly ahead there, Bennett, but Demspecki's still there. No, Bennett gets the move done. Demspecki backs out of that one, and Bennett there up into second place, can now focus on the race leader, Little Greavy. And Bennett obviously on the medium tyres, so is Gelram. So I think Bennett and Gelram could be about to fight out the finish of this race, because Little Greavy's not going to have much of a not much of an offence here to these guys. I mean, I can't imagine he's going to be able to fight them for long. Obviously, the extended the extended safety car period would have helped Bennett and Gelram enormously. And what's happened to Gelram? Gelram's off. What's gone on here? What has happened to Gelram? He's stopped by the side of the road. What's he doing? What's going on? Gelram just parked it. I don't know what he's doing. Did his wheel disconnect? Potentially his wheel might have just disconnected. Bennett, though, is within a second of Little Greavy, and we'll have DRS once it's open on the next lap. I don't quite know what this Joe was doing there, but he just stopped. I think his wheel might have become disconnected or something. He's out in P12 in this race. Bennett is on the back of Little Greavy here. You can see Max GT's right on Rednass as well, with the Mustnuts right behind those guys. Joe has got ahead of Demspecki. Demspecki's down in P12. Did Joe take Demspecki out maybe? Was he waiting for him? He might have taken him out potentially. I don't know. Maybe there was contact between those two and Joe was waiting up for him. I'm trying to speculate here, but I really don't know. But nonetheless, Demspecki in the pits. Joe down in 10th place here in this race, so that's not gone the way that he would have wanted it at all. As Twitch Storm's in the pits here. Little Greavy has got just under half a second here to Bennett. As we can see, these two have gapped Rednass and Max GT. Max GT round the outside there of Rednass into the chicane. Third place in the bag at the moment for Max GT. As we've got double over flags through sector 2. Not quite sure what those are in aid of at this point. As we've got 8 of you currently still watching the stream. Smash that like button, guys, if you're enjoying tonight's action here on the Motive Racing channel here at Zandvoort for the Dutch Grand Prix. As we can see, Bennett is just on the fastest lap there, and he's done the inside of Little Greavy. This is for the race lead. Little Greavy trying to keep it there, trying to keep on to his slim hopes of a race win, but Bennett LCFC has made it work there. He's hunted him down over the last few laps. Lap 26, 10 to go here for the Dutch Grand Prix. Bennett LCFC now has the momentum, has P1, has track position. I don't think Little Greavy's going to be able to come back at him on those inferior hard tyres. And Bennett LCFC, as it stands, will be extending his championship gap over Joan by quite a bit, as Joan has got ahead of his dad, Raki, up into 9th place and can now focus on HG Baguette, who's 8 seconds up the road. The Mustnuts is within a second of Rednass, but Rednass is right on the back of Max GT still hasn't given up in his pursuit of a podium here, as Bennett's just got just under a second to Little Greavy. Little Greavy's only hope here is that Bennett's medium tyres start to go off a little bit, maybe in about, I'd say, 5 laps time, maybe 5-6 laps time. But then what sort of gap is Bennett going to have over him by the time that his tyres start to go off? And are they going to go off at a rate that's considerable enough for Little Greavy to even be in a position to challenge? I mean, it's a long shot, I tell you that. But obviously the hard tyres far more durable than the medium tyres, but Bennett just seems to have this under control at the moment. From what I can see, it's going to take something pretty special from Little Greavy to get Bennett here in the last few laps of this race. But these guys have gapped Max GT by a considerable amount in the last few laps of this of our race up to this point. As Rednass is on the back of Max, you can see the Mustnuts there in contention there. You've got Crazy Max 0.8 of a second behind P. Cheward. P. Cheward's obviously dropped off of the Mustnuts by a couple of seconds there. HG Baguette is running about 3 seconds behind Crazy Max. Doesn't seem to be really making the gains at the moment on Crazy Max. You've got Joram here, who's hunting down HG Baguette. Has gained about 2 seconds just over the course of the last lap or so. So Joram is flying here, and I'm sure he'll be aiming for, looking at the timing board, I wouldn't put it past him to get a podium. I really genuinely wouldn't. He's got so much pace around here. I think the home race win has maybe slipped through his fingers, but podium nonetheless would be great. As we can see, Chicken Wings ahead of Demspecki, because Demspecki has made another mistake, and Demspecki's race is going from bad to worse at this point. It was such a promising start. He was challenging for the lead with Little Greavy. It's all gone absolutely Pete Tong for him over the last few laps. I don't know what is happening, but Demspecki is just falling apart, as Pete Cheward's just lost out to Crazy Max. Crazy Max up into 6th place. Another couple of points there for him in this race. They're still extending their gap to HG Baguette at this point. Jerome's not really gaining on HG Baguette at this point. You've got Rednass now has gapped the Mustnuts by just over a second. Rednass still on the back of Max GT. He has not given up on this by any stretch. He's still keeping Max very much on his toes at this stage. Both of these guys on the medium tyres. Rednass has done an extra lap on his compared to Max, so he'll be feeling a little bit more grip loss, but it's not going to make a massive difference really. 1 lap, it's very, very minimal, almost unnoticeable really. But nonetheless, these two still battling out over the podium spots. What a great result it'd be for one of these guys to finish on that champagne rostrum at the end of this race. Bennett still extending his gap to Little Greavy. It's now 2.5 seconds. Bennett on those medium tyres is just stretching his gap and continuing to pump them in here in the later stages of this Dutch Grand Prix here at Motive Racing for Season 4 of the F1 League here on the EA Sports F1 game. As we've got Dem Specky, who's got ahead of Chicken Wing up into 11th place. Nicely done there from Dem Specky. Crazy Max has got ahead of the Mutts Nuts as well, up into 5th place. But Redknapp's still on the back of Max GT, still can't find a way through at the moment then. As we've got double wave yellow flags through Sector 2. Not sure why. We've got a full course caution. VSC, we have got a safety car. I don't know why we've got a safety car. I really truly can't fathom why. It makes no sense. It really makes no sense. Nobody's crashed. No, there's no debris. There's no need for a car to be moved. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. The safety car's just being pulled out willy-nilly for bloody everything. And it messes up the strategy. You've got guys like Bennett, who've worked really hard for their position right now. He's on warm mediums. He's got guys on the fresh softs running right behind him. Little Greavy, the Mutts Nuts, Joram, HT Baguette, Raki, Dem Specky, Crest Anime. It's just stupid, man. Oh man. Bennett's picked up a drive-through penalty, and I don't know why. This is mad. Bennett's got he's got a window where he can come in, probably. He could probably come out in about maybe 11th, possibly 9th, I don't know. No, he's not going to come out there. Oh man, you've got to feel for Bennett. He could come out in P12. Potentially, so he'd be a couple of places behind Joram, about 6 places behind Little Greavy. So he needs to I think he needs to get himself in, come in for a drive-through. The problem is he's going to have medium tyres on, because you can't change tyres in a drive-through. I don't know why Bennett's picked up a drive-through penalty there. I really don't. Bennett, you know what? I'd say, no, you need to take it in 3 laps, don't you? You can't carry on. There's no way you can carry on. That is rotten luck. Absolutely rotten luck. Well, we are going to be seeing Little Greavy and Joram fighting through the pack here. The 2 home drivers on the fresh soft tyres. Bennett's going to have to come in and do a drive-through. And that is gutting there for him as Max GT takes the lead of the race on worn medium tyres. Rednass and Crazy Max there with P. Cheward trying to attack here on the inside of Crazy Max. You've got Little Greavy, Joram there on the back of these guys right now as Little Greavy's already made the move on P. Cheward up into 4th place. Joram's now going to try and come through. As you can see there's a car ghosting there. That's the McLaren of DJ Phil as they're making their way through. As Joram trying to keep it around the outside there of P. Cheward. Keep it there. Fantastic stuff there from Joram. Up into 5th place. He's going to be following through Little Greavy as these 2 on the fresh soft tyres are going to be making their way back towards the front. I'll be very surprised if Little Greavy and Joram aren't 1-2 at the end of this race. Max GT obviously has got P1 at the moment on those medium tyres, but he won't probably have that by the time he gets to the end of the race with these 2 currently charging through the pack on the soft tyres. As we can see, HD Baguette's made a position up there on Raki up into 8th place. But this is going to be an exciting final few laps. Max GT's trying to make a break for it while he can. He's already got a 2-second gap at the moment over Rednass. Rednass is currently there running in P2. You've got Crazy Max. There's Little Greavy as we come down the start finish straight here. He's got the run. No DRS this time around for Little Greavy. As Joram, there's Mug, both of them on the inside. Look at that from Joram. 2 positions in 1 corner. Goes a bit deep though. Little Greavy gets him on the exit. What a great undercut there from Little Greavy. Joram there trying to keep it around the outside. Can he hold it for the left-hand bank turn there? Joram there keeping up the inside. Little Greavy's still there on the outside though. Better exit there from Little Greavy. Still side by side coming through this middle sector. Joram, I think, is just going to complete the move there up into 3rd place. He's now right on the back of his teammate Rednass, and Joram has put himself into what could be potentially a victory-taking manoeuvre there. These guys, though, have got 2.5 seconds to make up on Max GT as Joram's now made the move on his teammate Rednass. No surprise there. Rednass didn't make that too difficult for him. Rednass has now got to keep Little Greavy at bay, and Little Greavy could be the thorn in the side for Joram, but Joram's got to hunt down Max GT, who's on warm medium tyres. Joram on the fresh soft tyres could be about to take a miraculous race victory at his home race. Where did this come from? There will be probably some inquiries into why we had so many safety cars. I have no idea why we had so many safety cars come out tonight, but we'll be looking into that. If anybody's got video footage from this, I really would like to see it, what's gone on, as the Mustnuts has got up the inside of Demspecky up into 6th place. Demspecky trying to keep it around the outside there. Demspecky on a bit of a late charge here, and obviously will be benefiting quite a lot from the late safety car, because he was really out of the picture before. He had a nightmare of a middle part of the race, but he's up into P6 there as Little Greavy's on the back of Rednass, as you see just under 0.2 of a second separating those 2, keeping an eye on the gap between Max and Joram. It's still coming down. It's now exactly 2 seconds between Max and Joram, so Joram could maybe snatch a victory here. But Little Greavy's right on Rednass here for that final podium spot, as these guys are right in front of Crazy Max, who will be looking to try and get his nose in if he can. Demspecky now right on these guys as well, could even be in contention for a podium. How has this come about in the last few laps of the race? Again, we're going to have to launch a bit of an inquiry into why we had so many safety cars, as Joram's got a 3-second time penalty, which could stop him from taking this race win maybe. He's within 1.7 seconds of Max GT, but I think that 3-second penalty is going to come to bite him, because he's not going to pull out. He might not even overtake Max, but he's certainly not going to pull out 3 seconds to him. Rednass just had a Little Greavy as the Mustnuts has made the move up the inside of Crazy Max up into 6th place. Raki trying to defend here from Crest Anime into turn 1. Crest Anime trying to go around the outside here, and it's going to make the move stick beautifully there, all the way around the outside of turns 1 and 2 up into 9th place. Great stuff there from Crest Anime. Little Greavy still on the back of Rednass as these 2 battle over the final podium spot. You got Crazy Max has lost out to HG Baguette, and Crazy Max has lost it there, and Crest Anime and Raki both up into 8th and 9th places respectively. Crazy Max there getting it all wrong, down to 9th place here in this race. HD Baguette continuing on her way as she's been passed there by Crest Anime. So, no, they're holding it together here actually. The Must Nuts has got ahead of Little Greavy. What's happened to Little Greavy? Little Greavy's dropped it. He was battling. There, he's in a battle with Rednas. He's now dropped it, and Rednas has dropped down to 7th place. He's had a moment on the exit of the chicane. They're all losing it in the final couple of laps of this race. What a shame there for those guys. Rednas and Little Greavy were battling it out for the podium places. That's now given Dems Becky P3. The Must Nuts is only a second off of a P3. Little Greavy, though, still on the back of them right now. Out of the last corner, about to start the final lap of the race. Max GT, though, is standing on the verge of taking a victory. And when you consider the turbulent back and forth nature of this race, it's been all over the place here this evening. But Max GT currently has got a 2-second lead on worn out medium tyres. He's been brilliant in the latter part of this race. He's just kept himself out of trouble. He's played the strategy absolutely perfectly. As Little Greavy's on the back of the Must Nuts, 2 turns between those two. HD Baguette's made a mistake and she's dropped down to 9th place. So HD Baguette's lost out to Crest Anime, Raki and Rednas and has lost a few places here and dropped a few points. Or no, she hasn't. It's lag. She's lagging again. This is unbelievable. Max GT though is on the final half a lap of this race. He's coming out of the chicane. He's got just over a second and a half to Joam. Joam's hunting him down over the last couple of laps, but it's too little too late for Joam. Little Greavy's got ahead of the Must Nuts up into 4th place. Nice move there from Little Greavy on this final lap, but Max GT has just been the dark horse in this race, kept himself out of bother, been in the right place at the right time, has played the right strategy here. Out of the last corner, Max GT up towards the line to take the checkered flag here, and he takes the Dutch Grand Prix win here at Motive Racing. Joam comes over to take 2nd place. Dems Becky mugs Joam there up into P2 on the time penalties. Little Greavy over in 4th place, out of the Must Nuts P5, followed by HD Baguette, who takes 6th place in the end. Crest Anime over in 7th place, ahead of Raki in 8th, followed by Rednas, who finishes in 9th place. Twitch Storm's a lap down, has finished already in 11th place. Crazy Max is going to take P10 here in this race, ahead of DJ Phil, who takes 12, and Chicken Wing will be the last driver to finish in P13 as he comes up towards the line. As he comes over there, but Max GT, this man here in the Alpha Tower, your race winner tonight, he just played it perfectly, didn't he? Right place, right time. What a victory there. Unexpected, but well done to Max GT. HD Baguette, as per tradition, gets the Driver of the Day award for starting from the back and finishing P9, I think, in the end. Or was it P6, actually? I think it might have been. Could have been P6 because it was lagging on the final lap. Yeah, P6 there. So well done to her, gaining 12 places because there are only 16 drivers. But Max GT taking the victory here. Joam with the fastest lap point in P3, a podium for him after an up and down race, I mean, to say the least. But Max taking the win. Dems Becky 2nd, Joam in 3rd place. Little Groovy 4th, head of the Must Nuts 5th, followed by HD Baguette in P6, Crest Anime 7th, Raki in 8th, Rednas in P9 ahead of Crazy Max, who takes the final point in P10. Twitch Storms in 11th place, followed by DJ Phil in 12th, Chicken Wing 13th place in the end, ahead of P. Cheward, who retired from the race a couple of laps from the end. And obviously you've got the other two who started the race. Bennett retired from the race a few laps from the end, down to getting a drive-through penalty. Not quite sure what that was all about. It was some strange sort of occurrences going on under the safety car, but in the end he will score nil point. But Joam P3 didn't take maximum points tonight, so Joam will be leading the championship, but not by much. Only 10 points separating Joam and Bennett in favour of the two-time champion currently, but still all to play for in the second half of this season. Still 7 races left to go. Make sure you join us next week for round 9 at the Formula 1 League. We'll be back at the same time as always, 6:45 p.m. UK time for round 9 of the season. Obviously we'll be at Monza for the Italian Grand Prix, so it's next week, Monza, not 2 weeks time. But yeah, thanks everybody once again. Hit the like button, subscribe. We'll see you in the next one, guys. Take it easy and good night.